Hello and welcome to Immortal Behaviour for this week. Joey, good to see you again.
Good to see you. Back
After a week off. Matt Thompson warmed the seat. I can still smell the brute.
Oh, I can still smell the painkillers on you from being in hospital. Yes, please. I'm in agony.
We'll start off with the Maroons, and a big blow for them with Kalen Ponga ruled out with a groin injury. How much do you think this affects them and their chances?
Yeah, it really affects him. He creates so much at fullback. He's that second wave in attack. Combines well down the left side with Munster. So it's a massive out. There's talk that Valentine Holmes will come in at fullback. I think they may go the other way. Brimson was really strong last year at fullback, especially in Adelaide. He had a big game there. So I think they may go with Brimson at fullback.
Were you surprised that Ponga was named at all? Because it was literally the 24 hours prior he couldn't even play for the Knights, and then the next day he's named in the side.
Well, I spoke to him up in Newcastle last Sunday before the Manly game and asked him how his groin was going, blah, blah, blah. And it didn't sound real good because he'd rested it and he tried to run during the week and he took 3 steps and went, ah. So he went. So I understand he's got a small tear in there. You got to be so careful with groins.
Well, how worried about you for the rest of his season? Because you've had some issues with your groin.
I spoke to Freddie about it yesterday. I reckon I carried a groin injury for 18 months, 2 years. I think I had 4 operations on it. And it can just linger and hang around. It takes a lot of your speed and power away and your footwork. And you just lack that confidence that it's going to go pop again. And it's weird, it travels. You can get it up in your stomach. It's like you've got a hernia and then it goes elsewhere. It can be, it can linger around. So he's in good hands up there. The doctor up there, Dr. Neil Halpin, he'll look after him. He specialises. He operates on groins. So he's in great hands there, but he's got to be careful, Kalen.
Well, he's had quite a bit of a bad run with injury around Origin, because last year he had the shoulder injury, the shoulder surgery at the back end of the season. He was ruled out of halfway through the series the year before, and also the year before as well, with I think with hamstring and.
Maybe, well, we know Kalen's game is based around explosive movements, as in speed, but he dances around. His footwork's incredible. Maybe it's got something to do with that, but maybe there's some sort of imbalance in his body with. You look at Turbo. Turbo's had a history of hamstrings. He has to really be careful the way he trains. So maybe Kalen's the same.
Now you have been in the New South Wales camp this week. How's it been?
In and out.
In and out.
Yeah.
You choose the days, just the working days you go in.
I don't like being away from home. Going out there today, it's been pretty low key because a lot of the guys played on Sunday, so they can't really do too much with the sports science and all that behind it. But look, they're ready to go. I think they go up to Townsville on the Monday. A lot of people are making a lot about playing the game in Townsville, but for me, as a New South Welshman, I would have rather played in Townsville because of the warm weather, no dew, a fast surface, compared to playing in Canberra where it's freezing and slippery. So once you get on the field, you don't even hear the crowd. And
also, is a part of that being on the sideline as well? You like the warmer weather then?
Well, it's going to be dry up there. No rain, but I guarantee it'll be raining 4X all over me. Although if I was drinking 4X, I'd throw it on people. Yeah. So be kind.
I don't know, I've seen you drink it before.
Well, I did. Forgive me, Father, if I have sinned. But please be kind to the 8th people in Townsville. I don't hate people in Queensland or Townsville. Just please be kind. I'm a human being with feelings.
All right, so what is Freddie...
I promise I might see you at the Mad Cow. Shetty's all a beer.
Yeah.
Or Shetty's a rum and coke.
Yeah.
I don't want to be enabling people up there with rum and coke.
I think shots are the drink of choice at the Mad Cow.
Can you do that these days?
I feel in Queensland you can.
Yeah.
Just a round of tequilas. Darwin in Queensland.
Yeah. The Wild West.
All right, what has Freddie got you doing with the halves? What are you doing with them?
Nothing yet. Look, it's all sort of, it's Nathan's team. So, maybe a bit of chit and chat to Nathan about things, but he's been there for a couple of years, Nathan. We've seen this year he's gone to another level. He's getting close to being that complete halfback. So it's his team. He runs it, his style of play, and as long as everyone around him is in sync to what he's thinking and how he's thinking. So I think maybe it's more talking to the players around him about what he likes to do with the ball in certain areas. But mate, it's his team for 10 years now.
When you have such a short time to prepare for these big games, what is it that you do coaching-wise? Like, what do coaches come in? Because they don't need to coach the players. The players know how to play. What is it that this week is?
Well, you look at the opposition, you look at their strengths and weaknesses in defence, and you got certain targets, and you think about how you manipulate those gaps and how you isolate those certain players and, you know, certain plays to get your strike players into space. So I think it's more about understanding the players around the key players, which the key players are Cook and Nathan, Luai and Teddy. So as long as they're all together and they're playing together and they're going at perceived weaknesses, then it's pretty dangerous.
How handy do you think it is for Jerome Luai to have his club halves partner alongside him in Origin?
Oh, it's huge.
He doesn't seem like he seems like a cool, calm and collected player, but on those big arenas...
I think Jerome's one of those players where the bigger the occasion, the better he goes. Like a Munster, like a Ponga, like these sort of players who, the bigger the challenge and the more pressure, they revel in it. I don't think it'll worry him at all. He'll go out at Suncorp in a couple of weeks, or Townsville this week. He could be playing at Mount Druitt. Wouldn't even care. He just gets out there and play, which is refreshing to see. And he's the perfect alter ego for Nathan. You got the yin and the yang. You got Batman and Robin, Superman, Lois Lane. Maybe not.
What were you like on game day, especially these big ones, Origin?
Early on in my career, I was used to get pretty nervous, but then later in your career, you're used to it. It's like second nature. I always found it hard night games because, one, I couldn't sleep. Two, I couldn't sit still. I couldn't sit in my room and just twiddle my fingers and wait.
What would you do?
Watch some movies, go for numerous walks. I couldn't sleep. It drive me mad. So
So you couldn't sleep the night before?
Well, no, night before I was fine. I get 8-9 hours, not a problem. But I just can't sleep during the day. I can have like 2 hours sleep during the night and still not sleep during the day. Lay down. What am I missing? What's happening? So it was hard when you're rooming with someone because it's around after lunch for that 1 o'clock to 3 o'clock period where people get the bat cave and want to sleep and relax. I'd have to disappear and go for a cup of tea or a swim.
Because you'd just be pestering whoever you were rooming with.
My poor Danny Medeiros, poor teammate at Newcastle, I used to terrorise him. Can you just lay still? Sorry, Beth. I'll go for a walk. Get out, please.
Oh, poor Bedsy.
Yep.
All right, well, let's talk about Origin in terms of bonuses in salary cap. Ivan Cleary's come out this week and spoken about it because it can impact the way that a club's salary cap is positioned going forward. If players have in their contract that they will get bonuses for playing games like State of Origin. What do you make of this whole situation?
Well, I understand Ivan what he's saying, but once again, they'll find a way to manipulate it, especially the managers, where instead of signing someone for 500, we'll sign him for 400, and if he plays Origin, we'll get a bonus of 150,000. So there's a way they'll manipulate it somehow. But I understand what Ivan's saying. Just don't sign them to bonuses. Pretty sweet.
So do you think that the bonuses should be separate to the salary cap or not there at all? So players...
I don't know, and I don't care. I don't care about salary caps. I don't care about bonuses. I just want to see the best players play for one club. Nathan should never play for another club. Jerome Luai's a local junior, should never play for another club. Brian To'o's from Mount Druitt, same as Jerome. Should never play for another club. Stephen Crichton's from these players. Somehow
they've got to work out a way
local
For
instance,
juniors.
Adam Reynolds, I've been quite vocal about that. He's grown up in the local area. I think he's from Botany or one of those.
Redfern.
Played junior footy there. Played junior South there. Won a comp. Played first grade for 10 years and he's been squeezed out. Just ridiculous. Fans want their local juniors and players who have stayed there for a long time. Last year or two, they shouldn't even be in the salary cap. Anyway, I'll get off my soapbox.
All right, well, let's talk about a new signing for Cronulla, Nico HYNES. A big get for them. What do you make of this signing?
So. Well, he's just gone up and up and up. Every game he seems to be playing better and better. The only worrying thing for me is you see players leave the Storm and they don't go to those heights in which they're playing at the Storm under the Craig Bellamy regime. There's only two I can think of who, well, you got Israel, who went to Brisbane and then elsewhere. You got GI, who went to South, won a comp. Cronk, pretty much won 2 comps at the Roosters with a pretty hot team around him. But you don't see other players go and kick on from the Storm. So that's the challenge for Nico. Where they'll play him, I heard someone talking yesterday that they're going to play him halfback.
Yes.
Because they're going to keep Moylan at 5'8", and they've got William Kennedy.
Will Kennedy. So Will Kennedy, because he just re-signed.
Yeah.
But what would you do?
I don't see Nico as a halfback.
So would you put him at fullback?
Well, fullback and 5'8" are very similar these days. I don't know where Johnson fits in. But if it was my decision, I'd have Johnson at halfback and Nico at 5'8".
And then who would you have?
William Kennedy at fullback.
Mm.
Nico's bigger body, defends okay, and the way that they play nowadays, 5'8" and fullback's very similar. But I don't see Nico as a halfback.
So you see him partnering?
I see him as a deputy. He's not a sheriff.
Okay.
Coming out with some analogies.
Yeah. You're on fire today.
Chief Wiggum. He's not Chief Wiggum. He's not Barney. Maybe not Barney.
All right. Well, let's talk about the way that Origin is, because this year we've got Wednesday night, Sunday, and a Wednesday night. What do you like? What's your format that you like? Do you like them all Wednesdays?
Wednesdays.
Every single Wednesday?
Wednesday.
Because that does prolong the Origin season. Do you think it impacts the game?
Sunday night's probably the highest rating time on TV. So I can imagine, Sunday nights, everyone's in, recovering from a weekend maybe. Everyone sort of kicks back on a Sunday night. Everyone's got school or work the next day. So I can understand that point of view. But tradition is, it's Wednesday. We've tried all the other days. We've tried Monday and Tuesday and whatever, Thursday. Wednesday's Origin. Keep it that way.
Yeah. Well, when I was a kid, we used to, Wednesdays were, you'd get takeaway, you'd get, but the issue can be that sometimes having it on the Wednesdays, that then prolongs the Origin season. So then you've got a bit of a slower actual competition and it can impact that. Do you find that or?
It's what it is, but they've tried so many ways to work around it. There's no easy fix. Just play it on Wednesdays. Simple.
I do like a Wednesday game. All right, well, let's take a little bit of a trip down memory lane for you in particular. 97 or 2001? What was your preferred grand final? What was your favourite?
Well, the first time was incredible. 97 will go down in folklore as one of the great grand finals. So that probably stands above 2001 and the way we won the game and the transition Newcastle was going through at the time with the close of BHP and the town was treading water, didn't know what direction to go in. So that was, you can't sort of beat that. But the 2001 team, I think, was a better team than 97. And I was just looking, before we came in here, I was looking on paper. You look on paper, it's just sprinkle of superstars. But not only that, we had in that team big game players who could really lift. Ben Kennedy, Gidley, Tahu, Badiris, Steve Simpson, right through. We had these players that once we got to big games, they go vroom. And that's what happened that night. Went vroom. Especially that first half. Vroom.
What was your favourite memory from that 2001, that whole season?
I've missed a big chunk of. I missed the Origin actually. I hurt my knee, so I was out for about 10 or 12 weeks during the season, which I look back now and coming into the semis, I was so fresh, injury free, because I didn't play the Origin. Playing Origin backing up. So during that 6-week, 8-week period, you're playing upwards of 8-9 games in that short period. So just doing it that night, we were big outsiders. Just the reaction of the players. You see the highlights of it and the way we were all reacting after tries. And you just cannot, it's hard to put into words that feeling of elation and all coming together, working all year for that common cause, and it all comes together on the big dance. It's just so hard to describe.
No better feeling. And the sad thing is so many people in life will never have a high as big as that.
And I think that's a big thing. You see players when they retire, or sports people when they retire. And there's a hole in your life. One, it's the routine's gone, you're not around your teammates, but it's that feeling, that anticipation and the nerves and the excitement, whether it's 2 minutes before the game or it's just that unbelievable feeling of winning. And you can't recreate it. It's hard to describe the feeling you get. It's just...
Well, you see it on a lot of players' faces when they win a grand final. It's happiness, but then it's relief, it's tears.
Well, the big one is 89, the greatest grand final. Canberra beat Balmain, and you see Mal Meninga after the game. There's no more a man, alpha male, than Mal. And Mal is just in tears. And it just represents what it means.
And how much it means.
How much it means not only to you and your teammates, but your family, but also the town. And this is what, pees people off at the moment. Their footy team is their life. They just live through their footy team and they save their money to be a member or to get their season tickets. And they see what's happening now. People are voicing their disapproval of what's happening now in the game. These people are invested everything into it. And for them to see their team win, you saw South when they won the comp for the first time, 60 years or something. Just people in the crowd, you see fathers and sons.
Oh, Maroubra was partying for about 4 weeks.
So good. It is just incredible how it touches so many people.
What are your memories of the 2001, the grand final breakfast?
Yes, a lot's been spoke about that. We came down and the night before, we went to the breakfast and we turned up in suits and ties and they turned up in skivvies. And I was only speaking to Danny Vidiris last night about it, and he said he was we're great mates with a couple of the guys, Hind in particular, and those sort of players because you played rep footy with them. And he said he was like looking over at Hindy. Hindy wouldn't look at him. So we sort of said, geez, they look nervous. And then, so we spoke about it as a group. Then that night we had to get presented at the footy show. They had a big gala night. I don't know where, whatever, live audience, big crowd. Got presented, and we're backstage, and we could see him again that they were nervous. So Matthew was on the footy show. Then I said to Matty, go get me a six-pack. So he brought a six-pack. Me and Ben Kennedy cracked a beer. We were having a beer on the Thursday night, and I could see Hindy looking over. Going, look at him. They're having a beer. Whether they tightened up or not, it's a bit folklore. It might be BS or spin or whatever you want to put on it, but we thought we had an advantage.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh,
and the beers went down nice on the Thursday night.
What were the celebrations like? What was a better celebration, 97 or 2001?
I can't remember. Well, it was the first night grand final, so we didn't get back till Newcastle till like 12:31, and we get back to our ground. I don't know what it was called, then Marathon Stadium or something, and there was like 10,000 people there, and we're doing the victory lap. They were all like slapping me in the head. It was just, I got so many slaps to the back of the head, but it's, once again, you can see how much it means. And I don't want to sound like a wanker, but following that, I think it was on the Saturday.
Yeah.
So the Sunday we win, the following Saturday, I go to the races with my mates at Newey Races. And we're there, and there's a pretty big crowd there. Anyway, the horses are parading. Next thing, I can hear this screaming and cheering, and people going nuts. So I'm going, has the horse got away? What's happened here? I turn around, and there's people at the races with their Knights gear on just cheering.
How good.
I was just like, yeah.
How long does it take after...
It's good to be the king.
How long does it take to sort of come back to reality?
Well, we had to go on tour. I think that weekend, Australia played in Papua New Guinea. I rang and said, I'm not playing. I'm not going. But then I think... So we won the Sunday. There was, I think, probably on the next Wednesday we flew to England, played tour.
So about a week and a half.
Can be tough, but you just got to get on with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to remember, you're playing for Australia.
Yeah.
This is what you dreamed of as a kid.
Yeah.
But it is hard to come down from it.
All right. Well, on that note, we will leave it there. Thanks for joining us this week on Immortal Behaviour. Enjoy the footy, and we'll see you again next week.